Welcome. On behalf of Zero Station, I would like to welcome you all to the public talks as part of the art writing workshop. Thank you so much for coming again. See many familiar faces. So this evening we have a talk by Hiroyuki Hattori, independent curator. He's the co-facilitator with me with the writing workshop. And then we have, after Hiroyuki, we have a Post Museum from Singapore, which is Jennifer and Tien. So we'll start with Hiroyuki. Hiroyuki is, as I mentioned, an independent curator. He's from Japan, and in the last several years, he's been working very much with collaborative projects in Southeast Asia. Before, he was working with various institutions within Japan, including a residency program, but also, interestingly, outside of Tokyo. What he'll talk tonight is about what's been happening in contemporary art in Japan in this century. When he arrived a couple of days ago and did his first seminar with the group, he spoke very much about his own projects in Southeast Asia and collaboration. So he was saying, you know, I've talked so much about what I've been doing, so it's nice just to talk about something else, which is, you know, the Japanese scene. And I think it'll also be very interesting for us. You know, while some of us might know about the Japanese scene, we don't know very much. So I think it'll be a great presentation. So without further ado, Hiroyuki.
Okay, thank you for your introduction, Wen, and thank you for inviting me to this opportunity for this workshop. Thank you, Fui and Zero Station members. Yes, as Wen explained now, yesterday I talked a lot about my own project. So today I would like to introduce you maybe Japanese art scene, what's happening like after millennium 2000. I think for you, Japan is far east, so you don't hope I want to give you more information about Japanese art. Okay, so today I would like to talk about maybe idea of public through my presentation, Art and Public in Japan. And I subtitled An Outline of Japanese Art Ecosystem After 2000. Oh, okay. First, I would like to share with you what is public or idea of public. Because in Japan, like lots of huge of general people, general public, feeling like tend to understand public as a service given from the governmental body. But I think this understanding is very limited. It's also this understanding related to Japanese kind of art scene. So first I would like to show you this. The left photo is Occupy movement. I think it's in England, London, but all over the world, like these 10 years, so many Occupy movement. But in Japan, actually, it's not active. And if we say public in Japan, lots of people imagine right side, the metropolitan government or something. So I think it's very limited understanding of public. But this kind of understanding is really related to Japanese art institutions too. So first I want to show you this. It's very basic information. From 1950s to end of 90s, in Japan, museum construction happened. Many local governments established art museums in these periods, like in these 20 years. And by the end of the 90s, all the Japanese prefecture established a prefectural art museum. It means a public museum. So and it's almost all the public museum established almost same period, like in same 20 years. So the museums have been collecting almost similar artworks. Lots of impressionist paintings are collected all over Japanese museums. So it is a basis of Japanese modern contemporary art. Sorry, it's very rough explanation. And then 1995, I think maybe everybody knows Fukushima's earthquake 2011, but in Japan we often have huge earthquakes. And 1995, also there was a great big earthquake in Kansai area around Osaka, Kyoto, Kobe, and the city was destroyed a lot. And but because of this earthquake, the volunteer system was developed a lot. And after 2-3 years, of this earthquake, the non-profit organization arises in Japan. Before 1995, not so much non-NPO organizations, but after that, this kind of small organizations are increasing. And then, so 1990s, after museum established in Japan, I think it's similar in any country, but 90s, public art related to urban development was analyzed a lot. I want to show two different examples, and these two examples are directed by two important Japanese art directors. The one left side is Fare Tachikawa. It's 1994 in Tokyo. It's actually the work was by Singaporean artist Tandao. And right side, Yume Oka Art Project was in also Kanagawa, close to Tokyo, Yokohama. This one is Yoshitomo Nara's work. So this kind of public arts are fashionable during 90s to beginning of millennium. And I want to show you the comparison of these two projects. Fare Tachikawa is established in 1994, and director is from Kitagawa. Maybe you don't know so much about him, but I think in Japan he is most famous art director who is running kind of art festival or public arts or something. And Fare Tachikawa was almost more than 100 works put in the small town, and more than 90 artists from more than 30 countries invited for this project. And the concept is very kind of clear. Cities reflecting the world, and functions withdraw the stories. It means function transforms into fiction. A city of surprise and discovery. So depends on this concept, Mr. Kitagawa put huge public art in one small town. You can find English site also. And another project is Yumeoka Art Project. It's established in 1997. And director is Fumio Nanjo. I think maybe you know Fumio Nanjo. He's the director of Mori Art Museum. And also he curated lots of biannual and triennial all over the world. And yeah, these two persons did very similar things in 90s, but after 2000, they toured two different directions. So I would like to show you this. And for Yumeoka project, Fumio Nanjo gave a condition, select mainly young Japanese and Asian artists. All works should be commission work, new work, and consideration of the history of the land. It means that the context of the place should be considered, and lives of people also one concern. So this looks very similar. These two projects looks very similar, and yeah, actually it's almost similar, same project. And then after 2000, in Japan, there is a movement of art festival. But I think in Asia, lots of biennales happening 1995 to 1999. But in Japanese art festival come a bit later compared to other Asian countries. So like Guangzhou biannual, Shanghai, Taipei start 1990 something. Also Fukuoka Asian Triennale start earlier than other Japanese. And then I would like to show you two types of art festival. One is very rural oriented and one is urban oriented. And actually the person from Mr. From Kitagawa is really focused on the rural oriented one. And Fumio Nanjo moved to urban oriented one. And the Echigo Tsumari Art Triennale start 2000 and Yokohama Triennale start, sorry, it's mistake, 2001. I wrote 2005, but it's 2001. So almost same time, they do very different triennial. One is in very rural place, and one is in the museum. So again, Echigo Tsumari Art Triennale directed by From Kitagawa. And he put artwork, also he established lots of architecture in the rural place. Like he invited Tadao and, I forgot the name, person who may use lighting. Anyway, like Marina Abramovich, anyway, lots of, he invites architects and artists to also construct architectures. And this festival spread into very huge area, and he invited more than 100 artists. And that number of audience is not super big, like 162,000. But now I think this festival got more and more audience. And the other one is Yokohama Triennale. Its directors are collective director, but Fumio Nanjo is also one of the directors of this festival. And first triennial, the main venue is not museum, but anyway, it's happening in the very middle of the city. And yeah, the audience is 350,000. But Yokohama Triennale's audience never changed, almost same. The rural one, Echigo Tsumari, getting increasing. And number of volunteers is also same. And after Yokohama and Echigo Tsumari, in Japan, art festivals are so many art festivals are happening. Like Aichi Triennial start 2010. This one, which I was involved in until last year, Setouchi Triennale is also festival in rural place directed by From Kitagawa. And Sapporo, Hokkaido also start art festival 2014. So last year, so many new art festival, and 2017 also Japan Alps Art Festival. It's happening inside the mountain. And also Okunoto Triennale is by the sea. These two, both are directed by From Kitagawa, same person. And then why those lots of art festivals happening? It's because Tokyo Olympic is one reason. Because now Tokyo lots of culture, lots of budget spent for cultural promotion too. And this is just comparison between rural-oriented and urban-oriented. And rural-oriented one is site-specific and tend to be more spectacular, making something new, huge sculpture or installations. And also the relation between art and tourism are very strong. And another point is, this kind of festival focus on regional contribution, because those areas usually less people come here, but because of the art festival, lots of young people come to those areas. So actually, not all people really enjoy or aim for the contemporary art, but more for development of the rural area. So in Japan, this kind of art festival called so-called regional art, I think it's very Japanese way now. It's developed a very independent way. And almost all of those festivals are initiated by the same person from Kitagawa. And the other one is urban-oriented art. It's more like normal art activities, like try to be involved in the international art scene and contemporaneity and the concept to take importance, networking in the global world, and connecting to urban redevelopment, also connecting to the urban redevelopment and gentrification. So those are not only Fumio Nanjo, but he is one key person, like involved in Yokohama Triennale and also Mori Art Museum. So, and yeah, Rural Oriental also at festival, beautiful landscape takes a core role, but also on the other hand, urban one is art museum takes a core role, like Yokohama, Aichi, and Sapporo. And it's just around. I also want to introduce you other activities. In Japan, also art center and artist residency is very popular after 2000. A larger number of public art centers were born. Also, after the museum, in Japanese local government established no collection, but bring people. So, like art centers are developed a lot. This is a list all over Japan, Kobe, Kyoto, Tokyo. Not only those big cities, but small cities established several art centers. And also, now they are full of residency program all over Japan. And also, art projects are happening after late 2000. Through art project, no construction building, but only installing program or a project or a process-based or something into the city. And those are expansion from the museum to the street or to our lives, and make a connection between everyday life and way of artistic thinking. And those are the art projects mainly happening in Japan. But so I would like to talk about feature of Japanese arts activity. So as I introduced you, lots of museums, art centers, and art festivals are initiated and organized by local government. So lots of people feeling arts are something given from somebody. So people don't have idea to produce or to create artistic situation or idea of art. I think it's very different from maybe situation here in Vietnam. And also it's important, the aspect of regional contribution is stronger than the necessity of arts or cultural policy. So sometimes contemporary arts or artists are used as the tools for regional contribution. But the problem is in Japan we don't have enough critique about this situation, and also even like curator artists are involved in this situation. We are part of this kind of the contribution regional things. So maybe it's same thing because of the initiation by the local government. Actually, it is not easy for us to criticize the political issue and social situation. I mean, because lots of museums and festivals are running under the public governmental body. Then, if you criticize, well, of course, artists do try to do, but it's not easy to directly criticize under this kind of festival or museums or centers. So now in Japan, so many self-censorship happened. It's censored by organizers. Even sometimes we curators censored unconsciously. So we have to be very careful about this. But I would like to talk a bit more after March 11th, 2011, because it is the Great East Japan earthquake. And this is I think this is a turning point. Of course, not only for art or everything in Japan, it's a big turning point. But after this earthquake, Japanese contemporary art situation changed a lot. I just wrote, people has been beginning to be conscious more about the social aspect of art, and it's very interesting. Lots of artists suddenly start thinking about not only lots of artists start thinking like ethnographic way or anthropological way. I think it's because because of this through this earthquake, all people found the difficulty or found suddenly our everyday life stopped. Before the earthquake, everybody, not everybody, but most of us, like lots of Japanese, feeling our everyday life never stopped. But because of this earthquake, everybody now conscious about our everyday life and society is strongly related. I think that's why people start exploring about ethnography or anthropology, even through artistic production, or lots of artists start doing more research-based project inside Japan. So, and then after this incident, the word society and public were discussed everywhere, and the word like new public was not invented, but lots of people use new public, but nobody knows what is new and what is public. But at least like art scene changed a lot after this incident. And actually before earthquake, lots of young artists, architects and creative people living more in big city like Tokyo or Kyoto, Osaka. But after this earthquake, people moved to different cities like Fukuoka or my place Nagoya, or even Tohoku area was where the earthquake happened. So maybe the idea or value changed a lot through this earthquake. So until 2011, and so many construction happening, and always art considered as kind of happy and positive things. But after the earthquake, people's mind changed. So I would like to think about what is public. Then under this context, I have been curating or doing a project related to more process-based or project-based. So Well, so today I would like to talk or discuss with all of you about what is the idea of public. So this is just introduction about Japanese art scene and my thoughts about public. Thank you.